Hello, welcome to the No More Bohica podcast. My name is Biddy, aka Gary Crosby Klobitsky Jr., and I'm here with my good friends Ramsey, the Angry Muslim, and they call me Bruce Drager. And visiting us from Forest Lake, fishing for answers, is the Poobah, Pete Capoletti. How you doing, Pete?
Hey, glad to be here.
Fantastic. Well, today we're going to talk about some serious Bohica that's been affecting everyone's life for your entire life and will continue to affect us probably for as long as we live. And the name of the show is No More Bohica, so if you have something to say about what we have to say, please let us know. The bottom line is this. There's been free energy out there for well over 100 years. I mean, from Nikola Tesla up until all kinds of inventors in the 70s, 80s, even modern day, that have been repressed by big money, big energy. There's a really good documentary out there by Dr. Stephen Greer called The Lost Century. If you take my advice and watch it, it's on Prime, you'll be horrified. It's not like you're going to learn anything new, you're just going to learn a lot of new stuff about stuff you already knew. And we're going to talk about some of that today. But basically, it revolves around the issue of free energy, around global warming. There's a theory called zero-point energy. Tesla called it radiant energy. And the Earth is full of it. The ancients knew it, okay? We've been finding all this archaeological evidence of the Baghdad battery and all this other stuff. They were using electricity back before it was invented, right? But the bottom line is there are lots of evidence out there showing that there is free energy. It's been there and it's been suppressed by big money. And we're going to show how that connects to the Epstein files here in a little bit. But it's a scary world we live in. And until we find a way, we live in a world that's controlled now by big money, and God knows how evil these people are. But we live in a world where there's God and the anti-God money, okay? And these two things are moving further and further and further and further and further apart, okay? And you can see the world falling apart around us. All you have to do is look at a satellite photo from the 80s of the polar ice cap and look at a satellite photo from today. If you do that, you're going to see that over half of it's gone, right? And for what? So, Poobah, you mentioned the guy that created a car that ran on water. What do you know about that?
So there's been a couple of them that I've read about or I've seen a video on or heard people talk about on podcasts. And a couple different people have invented a car that runs on H2O or a special carburetor that can stretch a gallon of gas to go 500 miles or some crazy thing. And every time this happens, whoever the inventor is somehow has an accident or gets an incredible case of speed cancer and dies.
Yeah. The guy that you're talking about is Stan Meyer. He invented a water fuel car in 1995. He got all kinds of death threats. He was eventually assassinated. I think he was poisoned or something at a Cracker Barrel.
The guy that ran outside of the restaurant yelling, they poisoned me, they poisoned me, they poisoned me, and dropped dead in the parking lot?
I think
that happened.
Yes. I think possibly that's the guy. So
that's just a whole other kind of evil. If you put yourself in that position, if you had the ability to provide the entire planet with free energy, free power, what a blessing that would be to all mankind.
all the people
But instead, you
starving.
go, I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to harness it, keep it all for myself, and I'm going to make everybody pay me for it.
Exactly. That's the problem we face as a society. The greed of a few could end up driving us to extinction. Right. And it's not just global warming. if there's any truth at all to this vision I had, then we're hovering in that 85% where we're screwed. So we've got to change.
I think there's one interesting part of that, and I'd have to be fact checked 100%, but I'm fairly certain
We
that
got a couple guest stars. I don't know.
there is there's a process within the U.S. government where if you file for a patent, and anybody can file for a patent for anything, you can invent the better toothbrush or the better whatever. But if your patent specifically improves an existing process by, and I'll just say 20%, whatever it is. But if you invent something that improves upon current technology by a specific percentage or more, which is what this H2O car,
energy technology.
this car basically took the hydrogen out of the water and powered the car. So that improved our current gas car by 80 or 90%. But if you do that and you file for that patent, the government has the absolute right to capture and own that patent and that technology.
Yeah.
So
whoever wrote that law should be thrown in jail.
right.
Well, from what I saw, what I gathered, the law came about during the Reagan years. We got a lot to be thankful, like the fact that in 1986 Reagan passed that law that no longer held pharmaceutical companies accountable for their behavior, so they could do whatever the hell they want without getting sued. Ever since
We also have Ronnie
1986.
to thank for no-fault divorce, another winner.
Oh, right. So let's run down some of these. A couple interesting facts that I picked up here recently to share. Number one, before we get into all these inventors that have been killed with amazing ideas to improve our world and create free energy, let's talk about global warming real quick and the fact that there's this huge propaganda push to convince people, and it's been going on for 50 years, okay, since the 80s, or however long that is, 45 years, that there is no global warming, okay? Forget about the satellite photos, here's an interesting fact. Exxon alone, just one company, has funded over 40 different groups to dispute climate change. So the big money that controls all the fossil fuels and is making all the money at the expense of the planet and humanity, they have been feeding us misinformation, much like our government does, but we can get into that another time, for our whole lives, okay? And you got our president, Donald Trump, running around saying that there is no such thing as global warming and no climate change. That's because he's been paid off, okay? And everybody knows it, all right? And I'm sick and tired of that son of a bitch lying to everybody. I'm not supposed to swear. I gave it up for Lent. Anyways.
Female dog. You're talking about female dog.
I'm sick of this guy trying to feed his BS to the American public like it's truth. I mean, my God, when are people going to wake up and say, enough is enough? I mean, it's not just one thing, it's everything. Every single thing. And I'm a former conservative who doesn't even want to be associated with the word conservative because of that man. Okay, I'm sick of it. But let's get into this a little deeper. So inventions. There was the Stubblefield Earth battery in 1902. He ran his whole farm for free. He was a friend of Nikola Tesla. He helped him develop it. So he developed this battery that he stuck in the ground that collected energy from the earth and powered his farm at no cost. That was in 1902, right? What's the date today? February 23rd, 2026. So that's 124 years ago. How about T. Henry Moray? In the 1930s, he produced a box that made 50 kilowatts. Again, collecting the ambient energy from the earth, or the radiant energy, as Nikola Tesla would say, or to use modern terms, zero-point energy. Now, a lot of people, when they hear the word zero-point energy, they probably think of the movie The Incredibles and Syndrome, you know, pointing his finger at our heroes and trapping them in a little energy field, right? I mean, that's what I first thought of when I heard zero-point energy. I was like, oh yeah, Syndrome. He's got that figured out. We've known that for a long time. But seriously, there is such a thing as zero-point energy. And, you know, a lot of this talk about UFOs, a lot of them are man-made. Doesn't mean they all are. I believe in aliens, but a lot of these UFOs that are flying around with crazy anti-gravity powered vehicles are actually man-made, and they have been around since the 50s, and they're in multiple nations. And they keep this technology suppressed because it doesn't cost money, right? They can't make a profit off it. They'd rather keep us in whatever mire we're stuck in. Yeah. And not only that, all right, let's just get into these inventors here. We don't want to skip them. How about the Edwin Gray electric motor from the 70s? He created a motor, an energy conversion device, where you could put in 26.8 watts of power and 7,460 watts would come out. So
that guy needs some turbo cancer now.
Exactly. Yeah, he got killed. All these guys have been murdered or suicided or whatever by big money, big energy, whatever you want to call it.
Unalived.
The Olympian Council, the deep state, Israel, whoever funds Israel. What is that? The Olympian Council? I'm getting confused. The devil worshipping, cannibalistic, pedophilic dudes that we've been electing for the last 4 decades. Those guys. Anyways, there's another guy. Okay, just that invention alone. These energy multipliers, the patent office that Bruce brought up says that technology is not possible. We have here a list of at least a half a dozen inventors that have invented different forms of that technology and been repressed by the patent office or suicided by big money and big energy. Joseph Newman in the 1980s, he had a little box that you would input 17 watts and 200 watts of power would come out. It's not even as cool as the guy in the 70s, but still, that's a big advantage, right? Put a little power in, get a lot of power out, that solves a lot of problems. Why aren't we using this technology? How about Floyd Sparky Sweet?
Sparky.
Yeah. Floyd Sparky Sweet in the mid-80s. Now, he created the mother of all machines. With Floyd's machine, the input was 0.3 milliwatts of power. Okay? That's like putting a battery on your tongue. Maybe that's even more power. I don't know. That's not a lot of power. And for 0.3 milliwatts of power, go through his energy converter, and out comes 223,710 watts of power. I mean, we could have solved this energy crisis back in the 80s if our government would have let.
They sounds like they solved it about 50 times.
Yeah, he got suicided. He just died of a mysterious heart attack. Took his secret to his grave, like most of these inventors. There's another guy that is pretty well accepted that he was killed off by big money, big energy. Dr. Eugene Malave, expert in cold fusion, exposed all the fraud related with cold fusion, was murdered by big energy, beaten to death after developing a zero-point energy device. So he developed a zero-point energy device, was getting ready to patent it, and then he was beaten to death at his mother's house, supposedly by thugs, right? We talked about Stan Meyer, Mr. What a bummer that was. There's another guy, Ken Shoulders. He tapped into zero-point energy, started receiving death threats. There's another guy out there, I don't know his name. He came out in 2022. He developed a box with magnesium plates that taps into the radiant energy of the earth. And he was able to power his farm with it. He received all kinds of death threats, got thrown in jail, got his patent denied. He's working in secret to develop a bigger device, and who knows, but unless he publishes it or something before he gets killed, we're probably not going to see that either. And then there's gravity power. There's evidence that gravity power devices were developed in the 50s and, have been repressed. That's kind of in relation to the zero-point energies, maybe another word for it, I don't know. But the bottom line is here we are in a world dominated by people like Epstein, right? I mean, and we have a government run by, what did I call them? Devil worshipping, cannibalistic pedophiles?
Pedophile, evil, demonic, yeah.
I mean, can you believe this stuff?
What they've shown us is the
They eat jerky.
the very G-rated version.
They
of
eat
what
muffins and
they
jerky.
wanted us to see. Can you imagine what we haven't seen? Can you even imagine?
We've read about it, we haven't watched
So,
it.
this whole global warming conspiracy, that they try to deny it, and the fact that they've repressed free energy for well over 100 years. I mean, this is factual. It's not a conspiracy theory. This has been going on our whole lives. And what can we do about it? What can we do about it? I don't know. But what I do know is that there is no energy crisis. The solutions are out there. It's just they can't make a profit off it, so they're not going to give them to us.
Of course.
You know, they would rather kill people and see people die than, do the right thing by humanity. And wasn't it Jesus that taught us that we need to learn how to help each other? Wasn't that like one of the biggest main ideas in the Bible?
Yeah, look what happened to him.
Right. Thank you for saying that. But truthfully, I mean, our world is being run by these evil people, man. What can we do about it? In my book, I wrote that 99.99% of the people on planet Earth are good, and I believe that. That means that 0.01% is bullying the rest of us. So we're doing this video so that hopefully the 99.99% of people out there that are good will start standing up for what's good and what's right and what Jesus taught us, and learn how to help each other. Look, we're never going to be unified, all right? We're always going to have our differences, but man, if we don't come together, we're going to fail in the end.
I think, Gary, like you said, together we stand, right?
Yeah, divided we fall.
And why are we divided? Because we keep going down this path that it's red versus blue, right versus left. It's not. If it really was, somebody would come out against going to war in Iran. All the politicians are either quiet or on the sidelines. Wouldn't they all, who's Trump's biggest outspoken guy now? Newsom from California? He says squat about going to war with Iran.
That's because Israel owns Trump, and
Well,
they've ordered him to go to kill American lives and go to war in Iran. I mean, I don't know. That's my take on it.
So if we're expecting, half of the country to be against something and half for it, they're all in it together. We keep saying that, but that's the truth.
We're gonna.
The only politician that will speak out against it on either side of the aisle is Thomas Massey and
Maybe Bernie.
No. Bernie's bought and paid for now too.
Yeah.
He wouldn't dare speak out against it.
Yeah. That to me is where the togetherness, like when has this country been together? At 9/11 maybe?
Well, okay.
Was that the last
I
time?
don't want to
everyone-
sugarcoat this Epstein thing. Not to change the topic, but I just want to say this before we move on to the Iran war. Why on earth are these politicians and billionaires not being prosecuted for pedophilia? Why?
Because those.
Why are we letting these criminals run free in our country? I mean, if you're super rich, you can abuse children, eat human beings. I guess we don't have to.
Yes.
Allegedly.
Yes.
Those two things alone, we should be prosecuting people for those. The devil worshiping thing, I don't know. I mean, I would hope that the
Freedom
Christian
of
right
religion.
that put us in this stupid position will run those devil worshiping freaks out of our country, because God knows, how can they call themselves Christians if they're going to be run by devil-worshipping, cannibalistic pedophiles? I mean, seriously. How can you call yourself Christian if you're going to vote for these people and say nothing and let them get away with their crimes?
It doesn't matter who you vote for is the problem. It's going to take a groundswell revolution. And they're counting on the fact that we're all barely hanging on, too busy and too tired and too scared to do it.
Yeah, because they're trying to eliminate the American middle class.
Imagine when they go to digital currency. Then
I mean,
If
they're-
we don't revolt, if that's not a revolt, then I guess we deserve it.
But they can shut you off then.
Yeah,
They're gonna
once we go
turn
to
you off.
digital currency, we're
Oh,
done.
we don't, he's off. Boop.
We're done.
But
Yeah,
it's the tip of the iceberg, Ramsey, right? Didn't you say that?
that-
This Epstein stuff, this is the tip.
We haven't seen the videos
The
yet.
tippy tip.
Well,
They're just giving
and
us
because
the
of this
emails.
Epstein stuff coming out, I mean, how can we discount any of the conspiracy theories we've heard over our
You
lifetime?
can't, they're right. Q was right.
I mean,
Q was talking about this stuff.
I think,
Everyone said they were
I
crazy.
think, I wanna see Jesse the Body now and revisit, I want him to kind of go through a laundry list. Yeah, I want him to go through a laundry list of all his, controversies and stuff that he thinks he's uncovered. So that in the future, when this stuff starts coming out, I can say, wow, maybe Jesse was right. You know, who knows? I don't know. I mean, I know that society kind of labeled him a wacko because of all the conspiracy theories,
I
but
used to think he was too, and sounds like he's making a lot more sense now.
yeah. I mean, look what we've been through just in the last 6 months. We got hundreds of thousands of innocents being slaughtered, okay, in Israel, right? We got Gaza, whatever. Is that different? Isn't that Israel too?
No, it's not.
I thought it was all the same country.
Yeah,
It will be.
technically, yeah.
It will be.
So we got that. Then we have this billions of dollars of corruption in Minnesota. That was kind of an eye opener. And then we have all the other BS we talked about in the last episode, which we're not going to get into. And then we have the fact that we have a president that's reneged on every single campaign promise except for one.
Everyone.
And you have a conservative base that, at least the conservatives I know, aren't as happy as they used to be, except for maybe one guy who's kind of a bigot, but whatever. I'm worried. Man. I had this vision, and in my vision, we got 85% chance of becoming extinct. And as long as we live in a world where God and the anti-God are moving further and further apart, which we are, we're not going to make it.
Russia is big. I think if we move to Russia, we'll be safe. We have to get out of here.
You're not safe anywhere.
In Russia, I think we'll be safe. It's big.
When our moment of truth comes, it's still.
We're too centralized here now.
It's screwed.
We're too centralized. AI is already tracking us for it's already hurting us. They've already hurting
Argentina,
us.
there seems to be a
We've
push
been hurted.
for people going
So,
to
do you
Argentina.
guys feel like these the people that have been revealed in the Epstein files, do you think they should be prosecuted or kicked out of the country like me?
They should be drugged and, here's what somebody said the other day. They should treat these people the way ICE treats our citizens. You
Oh.
should be brought in, put into a holding cell with inhumane conditions, and not given a hearing in front of a judge, and you should be, then prosecuted for your missing paperwork until some of this stuff comes out. But if anyone's gonna talk, what happens to them? Once they think,
Well, they said the head of ICE has her sidekick, her boyfriend. She's married and she has her boyfriend in a position. She takes him around with her around the country and puts him on TV.
but if we can do that to regular people, why not to them?
Yeah, we don't care. We're shameless.
Why can't we
Shameless.
round them up and get them in a box? And
Because
find
they're
out-
in charge of the police. You're talking about the chief of police.
I think we should either prosecute him or kick him out of the country.
No, it's the chief of police. We have a problem with our elected officials.
I don't
prosecute anybody for anything.
I don't disagree.
Not if they have money.
We have compromised
That's
elected
obvious.
officials who are putting in place their own people in positions of power.
Or if they get prosecuted, they get pardoned. They're doing it in other countries?
So
Is
the
that a
situation's
start?
bleak, and it's up to us as human beings to come together, right? And in one voice say, we're not gonna put up with this anymore. You guys can have all your money, you can have all your riches, your land, your wealth, your fossil fuels, but you cannot have our children, and you cannot eat our babies. And if you wanna worship the devil, do it some goddamn other. Okay? We don't want you around, all right?
Well, I was talking about it the other day, and you disagreed with me when I told you we are a nation that has crimes that don't happen anywhere else. You're not afraid in Haiti to leave your kid for a second in the park. In America, you can't leave your kid for a second in the park. You can't leave him in your front yard, he might disappear. Like it's a reality. Like people's kids have disappeared.
Most of these children that have been abducted for slavery have been abducted in other countries, so you can't say that that problem doesn't exist elsewhere.
No, they've been trafficked by us, brought to us.
Right, but they've been abducted in Haiti. They've been
Right,
abducted
but there's
in
no market
Colombia.
for them.
They've been abducted in Africa and brought here, right? But
Right, somebody paid for it.
But as a parent, you shouldn't leave your kid alone anywhere on the planet nowadays, not just in the U.S. So if I disagreed with you on that, that's why. Sorry about that. So let's get back. We might as well just wrap up and talk about the fact that how much time we got, buddy?
2:55.
Okay. So next episode, we're going to talk a lot more about this potential war in Iran. Okay. So my question is, why do we want to go to war with Iran? Can somebody explain that to
Yes,
us? Why
Because we
wanna go?
destroyed their
Yes.
nuclear facilities. We
So Iran-
decimated their nuclear
Iran is
facilities.
trying to make a deal with the United States, and there's a third baseman that's not allowing the deal to go down.
Israel, right?
Yeah, somebody's not allowing that deal to go down. That's how they play a part.
So we're going to let Israel blackmail our politicians into forcing our country into war?
Not our politicians, the whole planet.
And you notice how they're trying to rush this before the next election cycle?
Yes.
I mean, have they no shame? They're going to kill innocent
They
people.
want to nuke Iran. They want to use a nuclear weapon
Oh my
against
God.
all international. The Russians have nukes.
What makes you say they want to use a nuke against
They
them?
threatened it.
Who did?
Netanyahu.
Trump did?
Netanyahu.
Oh, the Israelis.
Yeah. The Israelis have exclusively let Iran know.
Well,
That if they are attacked by Iran, they will use.
why is that our war? Why do we have to fight Israel's war for them?
Because somebody owns our aircraft carriers and has them over there.
Somebody owns our
They own all our
politicians.
politicians
They-
and blackmail them.
They own all our politicians. I mean, let's face it. Trump is owned by Israel. Trump is bought and paid for.
If we had a
by
referendum
big
tomorrow
business and big money.
to bring all of our troops back, we couldn't win a referendum. Like if all of us, except our politicians, decided to leave our troops out there, we couldn't bring them back. You could do it in Roman times. We couldn't have a referendum. Like every single person voted on the
I
map.
feel really bad for anybody that's in the military right
In
now.
Iran.
They could get sucked into this.
Listen, what you're missing is they are a week away from having a nuclear weapon in Iran. Netanyahu said that in 2012. They are a week away from a nuclear weapon.
2 days now, 2 days.
No, 2012.
That was 2012.
Now we destroyed and obliterated their nuclear.
Hey, God created the world in 6 days. I don't understand.
We obliterated their nuclear capabilities. But as of today, they're a week away from having a nuclear weapon.
They're very efficient in their development and construction.
They are the slowest country on
I
the
mean,
planet.
how long are we going to stand by and let the media lie to us and
Great question, Gary.
and get away with these crimes?
Who owns the media?
So,
Epstein does.
no, I mean, the media, okay, I'm going to give a brief history lesson, then we're going to call it quits for today because we've hit our 30-minute limit. Since the Reagan years, Congress has worked diligently to strip and evaporate all of our antitrust laws that protected us as consumers and American citizens. And so all the media is owned by 6 corporations now. So unless they decide to enforce the Sherman antitrust law and break them up, we're never going to get honest feedback from our media, ever, okay? Because it's all controlled by 6 companies, and they all happen to be connected to Israel as well, who also wants us to go to war, fight their war for them in Iran. So that's my take on that. Anyways, next episode we're gonna get in deep about the potential of going to war in Iran. We would like to hear your feedback on that. Please email us at nomorebohica.com and tell us what you think about the fact that our president is trying to push us into a war with Iran. Tell us whether or not you think he's been bought off by the Israeli government. What do you think is happening? We'd like to hear from you. Other than that, God bless you. Have a wonderful day.